Hello, I'm Joyce Woodworth. Welcome to the Spirit of Winona. Tonight we're at the Lakeview Drive-In. Back in the 50s and 60s, it was known as Emil's Root Beer Stand. It was back then that I lied about my age to get my first job as a car hop at this drive-in. The beers were a nickel back then, hamburgers were 20 cents, and if you got a tip, if you were lucky enough, it was either a nickel or a dime. My favorite thing about working at the root beer stand way back then were all the neat cars that drove in from the 50s and 60s. I loved all the colors, and I loved the Corvettes, the hot rods, the convertibles. But my least favorite thing were the trays. They used to have this little metal piece underneath, and when you tried to attach them to the door, many times, as I walked away, they'd come crashing down to the ground. Today the trays are different. They're a much better design and easy to attach to the cars. But on Wednesday nights, the drive-in looks just the same as it did back in the 60s. The current owners, Tim and John Glaszewski, have brought back cruise nights, and on Wednesday evenings, anyone with a vintage car is invited to bring it back to the drive-in and just hang out. Inside of the root beer stand now with John Glaszewski. John and his brother Tim and his father Bill are the owners and managers of this great little root beer stand. Hi, John.
How are we doing?
Oh, I'm doing great.
Good.
John, tell me some of the history of this building and of the drive-in itself.
The drive-in itself was built in 1938. It was super small. The foundation is still in the counter here of the inside of the building.
It was built by Emil Brzezinski in 1938 when there were just bare fields and a few sheds behind it. Root beer was the feature then too, but if that didn't suit you, you could always order that old favorite ice-cold buttermilk. Emil owned it until 1957 when he sold it to Roy and Gladys Henderson, who in turn sold it to their daughter and son-in-law, Elmer and Gladys Terrace.
It expanded over the years. It started out as Emil's. Then it was Emil's Park Lane when he built on a little bit. And then it went to Lakeview Drive-In, and it still is today.
Such a fun place. Now, tell me some of the things that are still consistent with when it was Emil's Drive-In, like the root beer, for instance.
The root beer, I've been making that for 15 years. My grandfather made it before me, but it's the same recipe. We haven't changed anything.
This is Bill Glaszewski. He's the father of John and Tim, and Bill is the one that actually purchased this building back in the 70s, I understand.
Correct, 1977.
Well, Bill, what possessed you to buy a root beer stand?
Well, I was about 39 years old and decided to make a career change if I was going to do it then, and my wife also, and so we really didn't decide on this place. We had several options, and I'd never been inside. When I walked in, my wife walked in, we bought it.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
And it's been a good life for you, hasn't it?
Great life. Joyce, would you like a root beer?
Absolutely.
Okay. You know, back in the 50s, when I was a teenager, there were 6 root beer stands in Winona.
6 root beer stands.
6 root beer stands.
Wow, so. Bill, this is great root beer tonight. It's nice and cold.
Yep.
Tastes delicious.
Yep, it is. We are bragged about it all over. In fact, Lady Bird Johnson was here.
Seriously?
Yeah, 7 years ago, and she said it's the best she ever had.
I have to agree with Lady Bird. Tell me a little bit more, Bill, about those 6 root beer stands. There were 6 when you were a kid.
Yep,
Where were they?
Well, where McDonald's stands now, Bill Wieczorek ran it just a couple years. Then he sold that land to McDonald's. There was one on Minnesota City on the highway. Here, down 2 blocks was A&W. On 3rd and Mankato, there was another root beer stand, which closed in the 40s. And there was one by the entrance to the airport, Pam's Root Beer Stand.
Okay,
So
wow.
that was the 6, yeah.
Something I didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, here's to you and success.
Okay, well, thank you.
Our root beer outsells the other pops that we do have at least 10 to 1. There really is nothing, no secret ingredient or anything else. It's just you have to take your time when you're making it to make it good.
Is it on you then? Everything's on you then? Okay.
We do have a pretty wide and diverse menu. We go from shrimp and chicken to many different kinds of. Our menu is huge. There's no doubt Polish sausage, anything like that. It's really difficult to be a cook here. It is difficult. It's not an easy job because we do have so many different things. The tartar sauce also is something that's been passed down. We don't tell anyone how we make it. The car hop service, that's another one you don't see very often. Fun things like that, eating in your car. We definitely are a dinosaur. We talked a little earlier, there was 6 drive-ins in Winona, and there's only one left. As you drive around, you used to be able to drive up and down the river and come across many of them. Lake City, 2 years ago, closed down. There are very few left. The chains have kind of taken over, and the small mom and pop operation, it's hard to survive.
Well, what do you think makes yours so successful?
I think Winona is nostalgia. I really do. Winona is nostalgia, and cruise nights help a lot. People with their old cars, and I just think Winona definitely is that type of town.
Okay, here, I'll take care of that.
There you go, kiddo. When mom's away, this is where we come and eat.
You come here usually on cruise nights, or?
This is our first cruise night. We went to Fleet Farm, drove past, seen all the cool old cars, and thought we'd come in and take a look.
And what do you think of the root beer?
It's excellent.
What is your name?
Dennis Leffler.
Hi, Dennis. Where are you from?
I'm from Winona.
Oh, wonderful. Well, tell me about this cool car behind us. I know it's yours.
This is a 70 Roadrunner Superbird made by Plymouth. It was only made in 1970. There was fewer than 2,000 of them made. So it's a pretty rare car. Obviously, the flames didn't come factory. I did that myself about 25 years ago.
Have you done a lot of restoration to it?
Yeah, it was kind of a mess when I got it.
Okay. What did you have to do? Well, you painted the flames.
There was some rust on it. Made sure everything was straight. Had the interior changed. I added the front spoiler. I did a little, blackened out the taillights, a few little things like that, just to make it special.
Do you have other cars besides this, or is this your only car?
Oh, I've got one that's been in the garage for 25 years that I'm still working on.
You'll have to bring that to a cruise night, maybe next year. Tell me about the fun that you have with this car and what you do with it.
Well, I've been to the Carcraft Nationals a few times, way back in the early 80s. Otherwise, it's mostly sitting in the garage right now, except for cruise nights here. It's a chance to see all the cars from around town. Most of these cars sit in the garages almost all the time. Now they bring them out. There's some nice cars here.
Elroy Dahl from Black River Falls. Hi, Elroy. Welcome to Winona.
Well, thank you.
Are you having a good time at cruise night here?
Real good time. It's fun. A lot of nice cars.
Tell me about your car.
51 Ford convertible. I bought it from Tom Thorson here in Winona about probably 5-6 years ago and restored it.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
What did you have to do with it to restore it?
I took the body off the frame, started all over again, took it all apart, and done body work, paint on it.
Did you do that yourself?
Oh, yeah.
So you're one of those real car mechanics.
Yeah, well, I got a body and fender shop, so that helps.
How is this one special?
Well, I had a 49 Ford convertible when I was in high school, and this is about the same body style. Found this one at Tom's and bought it, restored it. Just for kind of nostalgic reasons, you know. Makes you feel a little younger when you have something like this.
It does. Did anybody ever tell you you look like Roy Orbison without glasses?
Oh, boy. Well, I wish I could sing like him.
This is Tim Glashewski, the other brother who is one of the owners also of the Lakeview Drive-In presently. Hi there, Tim.
Hi, Joyce. How are you?
I'm great.
Are you having fun here?
I am having a ball, yes. I love all the cars, and I want to thank you first off for bringing cruise nights back to Winona.
You are so welcome. We just enjoy doing this so much. We started probably 15 years ago with our 50th anniversary, and that was our first cruise night. So this is our 16th year, and as you can see, it's grown into quite an event. Some nights we get well over 100 cars here, and everybody has a great time.
Well, what prompted you to do this?
Well, it's basically the love of cars, and you know, I've got a car, and I like to shine it up, and then I've got no place to go with it. You take it for a nice little Sunday drive, and that's about it. Well, now we've got an event, and I found out there's a lot of people just like me. They shine their cars up and they take them for an occasional drive, but really they have no place to go with them. Well, now they've got a home. They come here on Wednesday nights and they shine their cars up and they show them off, and everybody's appreciative.
Well, tell me now, you've been doing it, you said, for 15 years?
This is our 16th year.
Okay. Has it grown a lot in those 15 or 16 years?
It started with a small group of friends. We probably had 10 or 15 cars that first year, and now many nights it's well over 100. In fact, you can see tonight we've got them, a block up the street this way and a half a block up the street this way, and I'm sure we've got 75 cars packed in the lot tonight. So we're 100 cars tonight.
Okay, so does your business really pick up on Wednesday nights?
It does. It does. It doesn't hurt the business at all. But we do it mostly for the fun. It's good for promoting the drive-in. It's kind of retroactive. It helps, later on during the week and during the year. People are always interested in the cruise nights. They can't wait for them to start. So.
How unique is this? Have you ever heard of any other drive-ins doing a cruise night like this?
Yeah, years ago there wasn't very many that did it. There was just a few, and throughout the last 15 years there's more and more. Rudy's and Lacrosse, they do them. Of course we do them. Every little A&W here and there, and I think Culver's is starting to get into the act. But they have a hard time really. Ours had to grow. They had a hard time making a cruise night into an event like we have. But yeah, they're getting to be real popular.
Okay, well, it looks like everyone's having a blast.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
You bet.
I'm Bob Lubinski.
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
Now tell me, I understand that there's a whole group of you that have built this car.
There's about 42 in the group altogether, yes. And we started probably back in 1992 or 93. We started out just a bunch of guys that went to high school together and were kind of car nuts together, and raised our families. And as money and other things let us get back into cars, we all kind of came together as a little group. And from the time we were in high school, we talked about going out to the Bonneville Salt Flats to watch this land speed racing. We made plans to go that next year. And then somebody came up with the idea, well, as long as we're going through the expense of going out there, between all of us, we should be able to scrape up enough parts to put a car together and run the darn thing out there. So we divided ourselves into a group of 3 groups. There was the chassis group, the body group, and the engine group. The body crew got together and gathered up all the parts and pieces that we needed to put together a completely steel 1931 Ford Roadster body. And then the engine is a Ford, happens to be a 53 Mercury flathead. And This particular engine here is what we call our mule motor. This happens to be a fuel-injected, blown engine. And what that means is the small thing up on top here is a Kinsler fuel injection. It's a 4-valve throttle body fuel injection, so you get sometimes almost twice as much horsepower out of an engine with this. The fastest the car has gone is 167.
Now, does that hold a world record?
We hold 4 world records in 4 different classes. We have the world record in the XF, and XF just means Ford Flathead. Now, this is a Ford Flathead engine that was built by Ford in Mercury from 1953 on down. And the class we run in is a nostalgia class, so we have to run equipment that was available for the car in that era.
Week you come here, there are different vehicles here. It's a 1964 Ford Falcon Sprint. Came with a V8. I upgraded the motor bigger, as big as I could go in the engine compartment, to a 351 Windsor. And then I put a 671 GMC blower on top. And other than putting the blower onto the motor, I did everything on the car, from the glass work to the paint, all the chrome work and everything. On that side window over there is early air conditioning. Before they had the air conditioning that everybody's used to nowadays, they used to use those evaporator air conditioners. And what you do on this one is you put 6 quarts of water in it. The water sits in there, fills it up about halfway. There's a basket inside there with something that looks like straw on it, and the water makes the straw wet, and you pull a little rope on the inside of the vehicle, and it circulates that basket. So when you're going down the road, wind blows through the funnel in the front, through that basket, puts that moisture inside the car and acts like air conditioning.
Tell me what your name is.
Leroy Yankee out of Winona.
Oh, Leroy, tell me about your car. I love your car. This is a 57. I love this car.
Well, I bought it was kind of wrecked, back to the case, and I fixed it all up. And put a different engine and motor in it and dinged around with it and got it looking like this.
How did you ever get this beautiful aqua finish?
It's original colors.
Now, are you a collector of cars, or is this just one special?
Just mine. Just my special car here. Just wanted a 57 all the time and looked all over heck for it and finally found one and then bought it.
How long have you had it?
Oh, about 5 years now.
Okay. Well, tell me the joy that you get in owning it.
Oh, a lot of enjoyment. Place like this and just cruising around on weekends and that and have people looking at you and really enjoying it. And I've just wanted a 57 all my life and had one now. Looked all over from California down to Oklahoma and bought this one in Winona.
You're kidding. Where did you buy it in Winona?
Okay. Advertised in the paper and I just went out and bought it and started working on it. And
you're having fun.
Yeah.
Now tell me, when you bought it 5 years ago, was it kind of a wreck?
Yeah. The hood was black on it. The trunk was black. The body, some of the body was primered, some of it was blue. The top was in good shape. The upholstery inside was completely shot. I put new floorboards in it, and other than that, that's about it. I put a different motor in it, different tranny. They were both. The motor was in the trunk, the transmission was on the floor. I come to repair it, and the transmission couldn't be repaired anymore, so I turned around and bought a 79 Monte Carlo, took the engine out of that, and tranny put it in this one. And it ended up being a 305 and a 350 turbo transmission.
Well, tell me now, can you tell me some sort of idea of what you paid for it?
I paid $2,300 when I bought it.
Okay, can you tell me what you think it's worth now?
About between $20,000 and $25,000.
Wonderful. Good deal. You made a good deal.
Yeah.
Thanks, Leroy. Tom Thorson, who happens to be the owner of Valley Motors, which is on the east end of town. And I noticed every time I go by there, I see all these great 50s cars.
We've got to stop and take a look at them.
Oh, I will.
You know, all the good ones are inside.
Really?
Yeah, it's just the junk that sits outside.
Well, the junk's pretty good, too. Well, now tell me, you've got these two great cars here for cruise night. Tell me about your cars, the one you're sitting on, for instance.
Well, this is a 57 Corvette. This one I sold 33 years ago. My wife and I went on our honeymoon in this car, so it's got a lot of memories in this. 33 years ago we sold it. We got it back last July. So a lot of fun with this one.
The exact same car?
The car.
Did you have to restore it?
No, it was restored when I got it back. The fellow I sold it to did all the work on it, so I was able to buy it like this and do a little work on it.
Tell me some of the features of this car.
Well, it's a 57 Corvette. It happens to be a 270 horse with 2 4-barrels, 4-speed. Factory color is black with a silver cove, as you see, and the orange interior. So just a nice cruising car.
It is beautiful.
It's all the memories it brings back. We drove this for 6 years. My wife and I had it. So.
You got a cute wife, too. I know that.
Thank you.
Tom, tell me about is this called a jalopy?
No, that's 32 Ford Street Rod. Flathead V8 in it with the 3-speed transmission. It's got a Lincoln overdrive in it. It's one of 2 in the world built with a Lincoln overdrive in it. The guy that built, I didn't build this car. The guy that did put the Lincoln overdrive in, and there's only 2 of them around. But that's Omaha orange, again, tan interior. Real fun car to drive. Nostalgia at its best right there.
Okay, now you said restore, so do you actually restore the cars yourself?
Some I do myself. I build them. Mainly I just sell them. But I fix everything. That's what I do.
Okay. It's absolutely beautiful. Can you tell me some of the special features about that?
Well, it's a fiberglass body. Again, most guys build these roadsters like this with a Chevy small block in them, which I'm so tired of looking at Chevy small blocks. This is what's kind of fun. This is a 1948 Mercury in there, flathead V8. And it kind of sets it apart. This basically looks like it was built in the 50s, and that's what it's supposed to do. I like the nostalgic type cars. I'm not into the new cars with all the billet material and fuel injections and all this and that. I don't enjoy that.
Tom, we're going to have to get more detailed, and I'm going to have to come to your shop and do a show with you.
Anytime.
Okay.
Let me know when you're coming out.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you very much.
This is probably one of the best early cruise nights we've had. Of course, our end ones get to be like this, but beginning of the year, this is excellent. So give yourselves a hand for coming, too.
This has been a great night of memories for me, seeing all these great cars like the 57 Chevy behind me. I feel like I'm 14 again in a car hop at Lakeview Drive-In. Thanks for joining me. Please join me again next week. Till then, enjoy the Spirit of Winona.